We are the masters of Materium, and we are kickstarting our new series, which we're going to review the deeds as well as review which buildings might make the most sense. Now, none of this is financial advice. There's infinite number of options in terms of combinations and things. So we're just going to give you our opinion and take it with a grain of salt. So we're going to start with the Homestead Grill. Let's get right into it. First of all, before we get into it, we have to give praise and bow down to Aaelim for all the incredible work he's put into what you guys are about to witness. It's nothing short of absolutely mind-blowing. You know, my mind's been blown, and everybody that's seen it as well. So, Grill, with no further ado, let's check out Aaelim's wizardry.
All right, let's do this. Yeah, months of work went into this. So, introducing Valrandus. So this is a version of our version of Mirandus deeds built inside Valheim. The first
Can you guys maybe just give a little bit of commentary on Valheim? What is it, and why is it such a great place to build the Mirandus ideas?
Sure. You want to start off, Aaelim?
First off, the games are very similar in general design, which is similar to what Mirandus will be, other than Mirandus being an MMO as well. They're both kind of medieval-esque in terms of their time periods. Michael McCarthy actually did a AMA a couple of years ago in Valheim, and he clearly taken a lot of inspiration from that as well. So I think it was probably the most appropriate program to build the deeds. I should also give credit to both Grill and Vandalizer for helping with the construction of the deeds as well.
Yeah, it was actually that AMA that kind of inspired us to play. We figured it was a good idea to check it out. But this game kind of lets you play however you want. There's no NPCs, there's no quests, there's no real direction. They drop you into the game, and it's up to you to explore and build the world in your own vision, which is kind of what's happened here.
And some of the mods from Gala, including Vera Awesome, has mentioned that they play this to kind of practice for Mirandus. After just playing with you guys just one evening, I can say that calling this an inspiration for McCarthy is an understatement. I mean, definitely took a lot of ideas from this game, which is awesome. Excited about it.
Here we go. The first deed we're going to present is the Homestead. Super exciting.
So this is the months of work here, all into this homestead.
That's it.
No,
over.
No, that's a joke. So what we're seeing here is, first off, on the left-hand side are plot maps. These are not the plot maps typically that most people have seen through Gala. These are ones that I've made in a different game. And that actually isn't just a map. That's a screenshot from a different 2D game made via RPG Maker. So a few things that are worth looking at. So the brown, the darker brown, that's the homestead itself, the actual house. It's a 10 by 10, and then you have the 5 by 5, and you also have a 5 by 5 farming plot, which is the kind of beige or whitish kind of unlabeled color there. You also see a bluish color that is for decorative plots, and this one has a 2 by 2 decorative plot. Yeah. So the picture on the right is a screenshot from Valheim of the reconstruction of the homestead from the looking down. So you see where the hitching post is, you see the actual farming plots, and everything is as faithful to the actual game as possible given the engine. So in Mirandus, you know, a 5 by 5 plot has 25 actual crops growing. So when you see that, there's actually 25 crops growing in the same distribution as well. Yeah, so I also, in addition to making the plot maps, made, you know, fairly faithful representations of the NFT pictures. Now, there has been some different variations of the buildings and NFTs through different playtests, but the one thing that's been consistent from the very start is the NFT pictures themselves. So that's what I went with here, and everything is as close as possible within the Valheim engine.
And in my opinion, your render is better than the NFT. So on all of them, think your buildings look awesome.
Thanks. So this NFT doesn't look particularly good though. So.
Yeah.
We got a few more shots here. Hold on. Kind of go through them. This is like a little further back. Other side. Up close from a different angle with just the whole thing. There you can see it's labeled. You got the homestead and the hitching post is all labeled there. Shot of the crops from the back. And then you go inside from one view. I think there's one more view, right? Yes.
Yeah. So inside, if you see here, all of these homes are going to have like a cooking spot. You're going to have a bed to sleep in, and you're going to have storage. So all the deeds are designed in a way, and the buildings are designed in a way consistent with the information we know that Mirandus is going to have as well.
Yeah, before we cue up the video, let's leave people a little bit of a cliffhanger for a minute. Just talk about some other potential building options. So you put the hitching post, which is obviously a great option if people have horses. A couple of other options is potentially a tent if people are rocking a squad and they want to provide some sleep. Although, do you guys think you'll be able to give a key for the homestead itself so other people can sleep in it? Because I know there's going to be keys for deeds. So do you guys think you'll basically be able to provide keys for your bed?
I would sure hope so. They've discussed it a little bit in the past. It'd be nice to be able to let people either use your home to sleep or store, including the buildings you have there as well.
Yeah, I think they will, but I suspect the size or the tier of your deed will probably determine how many keys you can have. Like, the Archduke, you'll probably have like, an army of keys, and the homestead, you'll probably have considerably less than that, would be my guess.
Yeah, same. The other option too is a grain stand to process the farming plot. But one thing that we were talking about before we hit record is it's all going to highly depend upon which deeds are around you. So if your neighbor has a lot of the options that you need to, process food, for example, you might not need a grain stand. So that's a big deal, and one of the reasons why you want to join M.O.M.
Another thing to be concerned about when you have a farming plot, you're not just farming things that are going to be, ground up. There's a lot of other potential things that could be grown. Like, who knows? We might be able to grow trees. You might be able to grow fruits and vegetables, maybe other kinds of textiles that don't require milling and such as well. So until we have like more information, it's really hard to say, whether you'll actually need a grain stand. Certainly for things like wheats and stuff, that would be necessary, but it's not known at this point if you'll need that for all farming plots.
Now, Aaelim, do you think it's going to be one type of crop per plot?
The way it worked in the previous playtest, every single 1 square meter plot within the 5x5 plot, you could seed. So if it's like the previous playtest, you could actually probably have 25 different crops on the one 5x5. But we'll have to see, how it plays out in the actual game.
That'd be awesome. That would definitely give a significant advantage for smaller buildings and deeds.
It's possible that some crops need more space. Maybe you can't put 25 in a single 5x5, depending on what you're growing. Just grow one giant pumpkin.
That's right. Another thing that is important as well, in say like Townstar, things like shade and stuff can affect your growing. Something like this, the 5x5 plot is right next to a building. So if shade is something that's incorporated, then that'll, have effect on what you can grow there, as opposed to, say, like a village of the farmer or a farming hamlet where you have large open spaces with nothing to, obstruct the sunlight and such. So it'll be interesting to see if they, incorporate that, if they incorporate pollution, wind, water, etc.
And the big one, and they've hinted at this, is going to be biomes as well. So obviously, Mirandus is going to have a wide variety of biomes, and I'm assuming, based on what the devs have said, that there's going to be certain crops that thrive in certain biomes, and probably some crops you can't even grow in other biomes, which is obviously very accurate to the real world. Are we ready?
You ready for some little video action?
Here we go. This is the big moment.
Oh yeah, some actual
Aaelim,
in-game footage.
walk us through the magic here.
I don't think there's a whole lot happening in the Homestead video compared to some of the later. Some of the town videos are quite in depth, and the towns are actually really impressive, especially when you're inside. The Homestead, when you see it compared to some of the other deeds around it, it's not quite as impressive. So this is us, Vandalizer, Grillox, Virtual, and myself. We're all outside the homestead. You see the decorative plot there, which I have as a brazier. Hitching post is there. You know, you can throw the hoop of the horse around that if needed. You have all 25 crops there. We're growing. It looks like it's growing onions in that particular case. We'll see if that's something that you can grow inside Mirandus. Going inside, there's a lump of coal on the table. Who knows? Who knows why that's there? But you have your fireplace for cooking. You have a small storage chest, and I'm assuming larger deeds as well will probably have larger storage chests. Little place to sit down and eat, and of course you have a bed. And some of the deeds may even have multiple beds. Certainly, the larger deeds, if they have more keys and such, you can probably see that. But yeah, the homestead's it's a comfortable little place. The 10 by 10, it makes good use of the space. Unlike some other deeds, which you'll see, which you lose a lot of the exterior space due to things such as fences and such. But yeah, no, the home deed's a nice little deed. I think anyone who has a home deed in Mirandus, they would be quite happy with it.
Owning any deed, including a homestead, is going to be a very big deal, in my opinion. Grill, any final thoughts?
Well, not too much more to add. It's not a lot going on here. I think Aaelim laid it out pretty well. I agree that anyone that's got land in this game is going to be very happy in the long term, even with a homestead. There's only 1,600 of them, right? Or 1,000 of them?
Yeah, 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah, and it could be potentially hundreds of thousands, millions of players. You're in rare air if you have a homestead.
Yeah, we can't really talk a whole lot about building plot location and stuff because it only has the one building plot. But certainly we can get into some of the later deeds.
Yeah, so make sure you watch the rest of our video series. We're going to be covering every single type of deed, talking a lot about optimal buildings for those deeds, and we're going to be showing you some even more mind-blowing footage of Valrandus. And if you want to join Masters of Materium, check us out, mastersofmaterium.com. Just hit the Discord link down below and join us. It's really simple. We're wide open for everybody, including people that don't even own any Mirandus NFTs. If you're looking to be a scholar and find some opportunities, we'll welcome you. And if you have just an exemplar, join us. We're ready. And we are the most dominant guild already in terms of assets. So if you want to join the winners, we are it.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Gently touch the button.